Hi, it's me, Anna Schaefer, and for those of you who don't know me in real life, that's how you pronounce my last name. So I've had my own piece of the internet for 2 years now, and in honor of my second Blogiversary, I decided to do a video blog, or a vlog, or a vlog, or whatever you're supposed to call it. Usually, I'm over at my desk doing my whole blogging thing, talking to you through a screen, but if we actually videoed over there, someone might be tempted to call FEMA because it looks like Hurricane Anna went through. So instead, you get a nice, lovely shot of my bookcase. I think you can see my middle grades and my young adult novels, which are pretty much the best ones anyway, in my opinion. So I decided to do a vlog because a lot of times, like if you listen to people on the radio, you'll hear them all the time, you'll hear them talking, and then you finally see a picture of them, and you're like, whoa, okay, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of like that with me. You get to see my words, and you get to see my picture, but until you actually get to hear my voice, you kind of just get a piece of me. So this way you get to see that, yeah, she really does think that way. That's really how her mind works. And so for those of you who do know me in real life, you may be thinking, oh, yay, I read her blog so I can kind of stalk her without actually interacting with her. I can figure out what's going on in her life, and now I get to listen to her talk. I'm just kidding, I think. And for the rest of you, this is me. It's really uncomfortable for me to be doing this because, like I said, I write and I communicate best through writing. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, doing the whole video blog thing, is stepping out of your comfort zone. I know a lot of times in life, you have to step out of your comfort zone or else you won't really get anywhere. Like in college, in my opinion, just going to college is like thrusting yourself into this whole new scary environment. Or maybe different things like that. For me personally, one of the ways in which I've been challenged to step out of my comfort zone recently is through earning my degree. I'm an English creative writing student, and so I am involved in a fiction workshop where you write up your stories, you submit them, the whole class critiques them, your teacher critiques them, and then you get to hear the response. What they liked, what they didn't like, what worked, what didn't work, what you should never ever think about writing ever again. And so it's kind of a daunting experience, especially for me, who is someone who keeps her writing to herself for the most part. I feel like writing is a ministry for me, but at the same time, I'm very uncomfortable with it. I fear rejection, and I fear people saying, you call yourself a writer, and people saying, that's junk. You know, I fear those things. And that's why it's kind of weird that God has put me in this particular path to be a writer and put myself out there, because when I write, that is a piece of my heart, whether it's fiction or not. And so that's been a challenge for me, and I think that I know it'll be good for me in the long run, but right now it's kind of uncomfortable, especially if you go into the workshop situation and you're thinking, I really like this piece of my story. Oh, I think the plot goes well here. Oh, I'm following all these steps. That part's kind of funny. And then you come out of workshop and you're like, oh, I can't write at all. You know what I mean? And so it's hard. You definitely have to have tough skin to be in that particular situation. But at the same time, while you're in the middle of that pain, and while you're in the middle of people saying, here's what you need to work on, this kind of works, this doesn't work, you're sitting there in your head saying, okay, I see how this is making me better. It's painful a little bit, it's not exactly pleasant, but at the same time, I know it's making me a better writer. And it's the same for us as Christians, I think. Well, actually, I know. When you say, okay, God, I'm going to trust you. I want to do what you want me to do with my life. Then he'll say, okay. And sometimes it feels like he picks you up out of that area where you're comfortable and he like chucks you 5 miles away. And just like, this is kind of painful. I don't know if I can do this. And a lot of times we go through these experiences where it hurts. It's a learning process. We figure out all these ways where we thought we were on top of the world and we thought we had all these things together, only to find out we really didn't know much at all. And yet, sometimes it does tear you down a little bit. It brings you all the way to your knees. Once you're on your knees, it's the perfect place for you to call out to God and say, okay, I can't do this on my own. I need you. At which time, God comes in and God says, I'm glad you realized that. I have some great plans. If you'll just trust me and follow me, we can make this work out so much better than you ever thought possible. And so you do that, and then you're like, oh, glad that's behind me. I'm still trusting you. And he's like, okay, let me put you somewhere else in another situation where you need to learn to depend on me. And it's a cycle. It goes like that. And, you're always growing. You're always figuring out ways that you can grow your faith and you can grow your testimony and things like that. He's always moving you to new places. And I mean, not necessarily literally like from town to town like some sort of nomad, but you know what I mean. You get put in these different situations. So it's like me in my writing. It's not always fun to be critiqued. It's definitely not easy being critiqued and then writing another story anyway. But at the same time, I know it's for my good. I know it's for my benefit. And I know it will ultimately grow me as a writer. Just like when we're taken out of our comfort zone in life, that'll ultimately grow us closer to God. And you know that a lot of times it may hurt. Your pride may get wounded, which I mean, we all need that from time to time. But it won't completely destroy you. Even when it feels like you can't make it, you can make it. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. So we know that though it may be hard, and though we may just be like, oh man, I really, why can't I be where I was comfortable? I was happy there. I was comfortable there. I had my Snuggie and a cup of hot tea and a novel there, which, by the way, is my favorite way of spending a Friday night, just so you know. But if we are always comfortable, we're never going to reach out for more. We're never going to see all that God has in store for us. We'll just be content and complacent. And where is the joy in just experiencing the same thing over and over and over? Where is the privilege of being able to say, I'm following God with my whole heart. I'm chasing him with all I have. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about today. And that all kind of segued from me sitting down and making a vlog today. So in typical Anna's blog fashion, I wanted to close it out kind of like I usually do and leave you with one more verse. And it's from Joshua 1:9. And it says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be terrified. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. How's that for a promise? That's what I'm learning. We may get put in these difficult situations, but ultimately, God is going to use them for our good, and he's going to be right there with us, helping us, teaching us, bringing us closer and closer to him. And that's really cool. So thank you for hanging out with me on my vlog today, and we'll probably get back to regular posting soon. It's been a fun 2 years. It's been a challenging 2 years. And 2 years from now, oh, I'll be 2 years older than I am now, but undergrad will be fading into the past, and I'll be moving on into the future, and hopefully I'll still be blogging. So if you haven't already, you can subscribe to my blog and follow me on this crazy, slightly awkward, over-caffeinated journey called my life. In his love, Anna.